I wasn't going to come back tonight. I had a concert for my grandson. And I called when we were done for the evening, and Aaron said we were still going, so I guess I shouldn't have been surprised it took you so long to get done. But anyway, two reasons why I came back, and one being my mother, who said, you got to go back. And one, the 4- and 5-year-olds at Wood Park Montessori School. And I'll get to that in a minute. I remember the first time here, sitting in that chair where Representative Hamilton is, and sitting down, and Greg Davids was where Representative Hackbarth is now. And I love Greg Davids, but he didn't introduce himself. He didn't ask my name. He took one look at me and said, don't touch my desk and don't let your papers cross this crack. And then throughout the first year, he stole the food out of my desk. But I still love him. And I love this place. And I was thinking of some of my favorite memories and some of the people that aren't here anymore. But I remember, and I can't remember what term it was, but it had to have been either the first or second term because Jesse Ventura was the governor and wanted a unicameral legislature. And I believe Speaker Swigum maybe even was the one carrying the bill. But I found myself in an office with Dave Bishop, Phil Krinke, and Phyllis Kahn. Now that is quite a combination of people. And boy, did we have fun. And I learned very early on that while we at any one point in time may disagree with somebody, you never know when that person's going to be the tightest person on your team in the next battle. And that was important to me in setting a framework of how to work around this place. And I tried to live by a mantra that it was okay to disagree, but try not to be too disagreeable. And I hope that I've stuck to that. I think this is probably one of the hardest jobs. And I think Speaker Zellers probably gave me the hardest job ever, trying to solve a $6 billion budget surplus without raising any revenue. And I know for sure that for the people in this room, I told you no way, way, way more times than I told you yes. And I hope you'll forgive me for that. And earlier today, the words of Representative Scott and Representative Loon, thank you for those. And the term of a den mother, you might have been a little too kind with that characterization. And I sit here in the dog pound, and I'm probably going to get in trouble, and hopefully the press doesn't quote me on this, but it has been a pleasure being the top bitch in the dog pound for 12 years. And some of you on the other side of the aisle don't know, but when these puppies would misbehave, sometimes when they'd come to their chairs, there'd be newspapers under their chairs when they were naughty. So we have had our own set of fun in this little corner of the floor, and I certainly have loved being here, and I hope you'll carry on some of the traditions after I'm gone. But back to the kids. At Wood Park Elementary. They were 4 and 5 years old, cuter than you can imagine, all dressed up. with the room of all the parents, and there was 5 or 6 that were graduating from the kindergarten program, and at the end they had little red graduation caps and gowns. And they were so cute, but they started their program by singing the Star-Spangled Banner. And those children, they stood strong and tall with their hands on their hearts in a reverent manner and sang those most important words that we as Americans that live in the greatest country in the world get to say. And this institution, the House of Representatives, which is so important to me, is a very important part of that whole tradition. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, because that's what I care the most about. And it transcends Republicans and Democrats. It transcends whether you're somebody that works here or a lobbyist or somebody that votes for us. But we have a sacred responsibility, and I hope I don't offend anybody here today, but we can do better. And as I sat listening to those children and watching them, the memory of the Pledge of Allegiance today in this body crossed my mind. And we have slipped to a behavior where we're shouting out liberty and justice, and I do not think we are setting a good example. It is our job as public officials to hold ourselves to the highest standards that we are able. And when one of us does stupid things with Twitter or misbehaves, it reflects on all of us. And I think of these people that work behind the scenes, the partisan and nonpartisan staff, and we break every single labor law in this state in what we require them to do. They are here sometimes 24 hours a day. The things that they do because they care just as much. I just want to remind you that the House of Representatives is more important than any partisan battle. It's more important than winning and losing. I think of the good Ed Burdick, and I can't remember how many years he was here. Al can probably tell me how many years you've been, and I could back off the number. But I know that if Mr. Burdick heard the Pledge of Allegiance in this chamber today, he would be a little concerned. That's about as far as he would go. He would never tell you he wasn't happy. He maybe was a little concerned. But as I leave here and a new batch and you continue on, I'm begging you, please remember this is a sacred honor and responsibility. The other day we had a firefighter honor guard here to do the honor guard, and we made them wait an hour. Members, we're better than that. We need to conduct ourselves with the highest regard because people are watching us and they're counting on us. And we all make mistakes and nobody's perfect. Before you send out that dumb tweet or make that dumb comment, remember that the public at times can't discern one for the other. We're a bunch of politicians down in St. Paul, and sometimes we look pretty stupid. And usually it's only because of the behavior of a couple. And so as I leave here, I hope I don't sound that I'm too chastising, but I look at over the last 16 years, and I think, quite frankly, we've slipped a little. And so next year, when the new batch is here, remember those 4- and 5-year-olds standing straight and tall, singing with all their might the Star-Spangled Banner and what they believe in our country, and our responsibility to set a good example and implement policies that are good for the health of our state and conduct ourselves in a manner that our values and our standards and our integrity cannot be questioned. Because we owe that to the people that vote for us, and we owe that to the people of the state of Minnesota, and most importantly, we owe it to those super cute little 4- and 5-year-olds standing on that little stage, singing their hearts out with the Star-Spangled Banner. I'm not leaving yet. I got a few more months, probably do a few more things. It's been a great time. I've made lots of friends I could never name. All the people that have affected me in positive ways. I've learned something from everybody. But I just ask you here today, take pause. All of us can do a little better. The Minnesota House of Representatives is the best institution in the state, if you ask me, and we should keep it that way. So thank you very much.